Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Let's talk about Pereira, man, and he hasn't actually come out and said that he's going to 205. But if the UFC, if Dana White's coming out and saying that, most likely it has been discussed, right? And like they're gonna push him into fighting 205 because I feel like 205 is a much shallower division, even and like you said, Ricky, the stylistic matchups are just better for Pereira at the top, and they could push him to the top right away. They could put him against. Let's look at the rankings, and J-Spec, we'll just get your ideas of who would be the best matchups for Pereira, like advantageous matchups that the UFC can put together. We got Jamahal Hill as the champion. We got Yuri Prohaska at number 1. We got Magomed Ankalaev number 2, Jan at number 3, Rakic at number 4, number 5, Anthony Smith, and down. Let's just stick to that top 5. And who would you see as someone that you'd like Pereira to face off against?
Well, considering that, I mean, I think Prohaska, right, if God bless his shoulder, I hope he gets right in that he gets the next title shot against Jamahal Hill. That's the way I think it should go. So for just pure awesomeness, Rakic, I think Rakic and Pereira would be fireworks and would be very validating to Pereira's cult. Like if you get that win, then boom, let him have the next title shot. I think it's good for us to see and makes legitimacy happen within the division. That's just my take. It's not overly complicated. Anthony Smith, man, I know he's hanging around there, but I don't think that's a good matchup for Mr. Smith. I think he gets destroyed. Um, and you know what? Just to be inflammatory, I will also say I don't mind if Mr. Prohaska's shoulder isn't all the way there. I don't want him to rush into a fight that he's not all the way good for. Like I think we all enjoy him fighting, so I don't mind if Alex gets fast tracked right to Jamal as like a secondary option. But him versus Rakic would be my most ideal situation.
Ricky, what do you got?
My most ideal is straight to a title shot, straight against Jamahal Hill. Let Yuri really recover. Give him the title shot. That's the most fun fight to me. Jamahal Hill, Alex, who's shooting a takedown there? We saw Jamal and his ability to keep Glover off of him, and it was just he put on a striking clinic, right? Okay, you put on a striking clinic against Glover. Let's see if you can do that against Alex, and it makes sense. Alex had just won a title. Now he's lost it to Izzy, to probably the best striker. I mean, everybody can make the argument that Izzy might be the best striker of all time in the UFC. So that's the guy he lost to. The argument's there to make for him to say he deserves that title shot. You could put him right in there with Jamahal Hill. It's going to sell. You can still make the claim of he was depleting himself at 205. He'll be even better than he was against Izzy at 185 because this is natural weight class. The storyline writes itself if Yuri's not ready. To what Rob was saying, if Yuri's not. If Yuri is ready, if he is ready to come back, he deserves it. Obviously, he had to relinquish it. He didn't lose. But if not, put him right there with Jamahal Hill. If not, I agree with you with Rakic, maybe even Anthony Smith. Put him in there against somebody. Against Ankalaev, it's like, do we want to risk the takedowns and stuff like that? Do we want to do that to him, or do we want to make money? Again, do I have my promoter hat on? If I do, you keep him away from guys that are going to really implement a wrestling game plan against him.
When you look at the options, right? Like you said, the Hill versus Prohaska matchup is probably what the UFC wants next. But you gotta look at the pay-per-views that are coming up. Where do they want Hill to line up in there? And is Prohaska going to be ready for that date? Because I'm pretty sure Hill's ready to fight. He's ready to get into camp right now to defend his title, right? What is it? Pereira just got knocked out, right? So he's got probably like a 60-day like suspension for his health, and he's got to get the brain scans and all that good stuff, right? But does that mean...
That's 180 days automatic suspension, right? When you get slept.
Okay, 180 days, right? So once 180, fighters are training before that. They're just getting cleared at 180 days, right? Just to fight, not to train, to fight. They're training. Don't get it twisted, right? So Pereira, I don't see him sitting back and doing nothing, right? I see him. He got knocked out, so he's been through this type of stuff before in his career, right? So especially in kickboxing. So he's gonna be back in training. The UFC is gonna see like what's lined up. If Prohaska is not ready, right, and they could take advantage of Pereira coming back at the time that they want him to come back, and Hill's willing to fight him, because I think Hill's willing to fight him, and Hill wants to take advantage of that, because it's all about timing a lot. You know, when you look at fights as well, like someone gets knocked out, are they completely recovered to come back and fight at their best? And if you're Hill, if he's coming back too fast, in your eyes, he's coming back too fast from a knockout like that, completely knocked out, like slept, like he was laying on the ground like a dead body, right? You want to see a dead body? UFC 287 had one, right? He takes advantage of that and says, hey, Prohaska is not ready. Let's bring in a former champ. Let's bring in one of the best strikers of all time, right? And let me take him on. And I think Hill's one of those guys that will take that challenge. He'll be like, yeah, let's put it through. Because
not only take the challenge, take the money.
Yeah, and take the money.
Pay-per-view points now, guys. He's a champion.
Exactly.
You want somebody that's going to bring in the pay-per-view buys. And
I could see Hill knocking out Pereira as well. You know what I mean? I could see him going in there. Hill has such a, like, I call him, he's a street fighter. He has that like Street Fighter style, right? Like remember back in the days when people used to fight like this in the street? Remember this style? It was like a street Muay Thai, but
gorilla hands.
Yeah, Hill reminds me of that, but it's like he's very technical. He has a lot of skill, right, in what he does, and he just has like he like physically he doesn't look like Pereira. But for some reason, man, fighting is just in his DNA. Like he knows
he's wrong for that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He does not look like Pereira.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't look like Style. He doesn't look like Stylebender. You know, he like if you're gonna say like a guy that you probably not test for steroids much, it'd be Jamahal Hill. Let's keep it real, right? Let's keep it real. But the boy can swing and bang, and like he'll take you out. Like, and he got a chin. And
talking about a little bit what we were talking about in the beginning, that whole lineage, right? If you like that backstory, if you like those kind of connections and yes, whole master student type battle, old school kung fu shit.
It sells itself, guys.
Yeah, it does.
That fight sells itself.
Yeah, that's if Prohaska is not ready, right? But if Prohaska is ready, they line that up. You know what you do? I like the Rakic fight. Rakic has been out for a long time as well, right? Like we haven't seen him fight in a quick minute. I think he had that knee injury, maybe. I'm not for sure, but something I think with his legs. And yeah, man, you come back. I think Pereira styles on him. Like if you look at the striking skills of Pereira and you compare it to like Rakic does have the power, but he just didn't seem like the knockout that he had against Jimmy Manuwa. I think we live in that moment for too long. And if you match him up, and that would be a perfect fight for Pereira at 205 to line him into a title shot, beat him, create a highlight. If Prohaska's ready, they fight. He goes in there and wins that fight against Rakic. They launch him, right? Like Rakic, if he beats Pereira, I don't think they launch him. But if Pereira beats Rakic, they launch him into that title shot right away. But if he gets a meter title shot, I could see that happening as well.
Just to answer your question for you.
Yeah.
Rakic, it's coming up on a full year now. Yeah, it was that knee injury against Jan in May of last year.
Damn. That's not good. And that's perfect for Pereira. If he's ready by like end of summer or something like that, and Rakic is ready, line him up. Put him on the same pay-per-view. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that way you can just schedule it forward. Mm-hmm.